cloud. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the next Stack Talk on Sunday. Today we have with us Namita Dhepe. She is IIM Calcutta 2013 pass out, and we came to know about each other around few months back, and since we have been in touch. So from a startup industry, she has worked a few years of her prime time in the startup industry, and hence can relate to Zomato a lot. So we thought, let's talk on Zomato. And what better to do it on a recorded line for the rest of the audience. Before we get on with Namita, just quick introduction about you for the audience, and then we can start with our talk.
Sure. Firstly, thanks a lot, Mridul, for having this session and giving me the opportunity to ask questions. Sorry, are you saying something because you're muted right now?
No, I'm not saying anything. Please go ahead.
Okay, cool. Sure. So, hi, I am Namita. I am Calcutta batch of 2013 pass out, and actually, while I have worked for almost 4 years in various startups, I think I've been looking at consumer internet, consumer tech, technology, digital tech, and digital. I think there are a number of names, but I've been looking at this sector for the last 10 years, and I've literally seen a lot of companies evolve from the seed stage, Series A to, now being extremely large, profitable public companies. So I'm actually quite excited to be speaking with Mridul on one such consumer tech company, which, he believes is a long-term high conviction play. So I'm really excited to be speaking with Mridul on that.
Thank you, Namita. Thanks for your quick introduction. So, for the audience, again, those who know, we recently came out with a report where we named it 1000 in 1000 days. It was targeted on Zomato, where we kind of highlighted that we believe that within 1000 days, Zomato will trade at around 1000 rupees. That's our way of saying that it is one of the highest conviction idea across the board for us, and that is what is driving this conversation. For the non-starters, we wrote in 2021 on Zomato, and we also wrote again in 2022 when it was in the middle of the price correction and the storm on the price side and not on the business side, where we highlighted how business size is independent of price and hence tried to call it the phoenix of the industry. With this backdrop, Namita, I'm all yours. How do you want
Sure,
us
thank
to
you.
start?
Yeah, thanks. So, in fact, Mridul, let's start with that, almost clickbait title of, saying 1,000 rupees in 1,000 days. So that's almost like a 4x from right now. And, just based on the current number of shares outstanding, it will be a 9 trillion rupee market cap company. Okay, putting it in the league of, say, a Reliance Industries and HDFC Bank, Bharti Airtel, and then, TCS, and then probably, Zomato. So I think, it's a very bold and extremely optimistic call. And got a chance to look at the report. So, like very interesting things, you're talking about Zomato currently being a very different company, quote unquote. So just wanted to understand, like, what is the basis for the optimistic view?
Thank you. Just to highlight, yes, I expect Zomato to be part of Nifty in the next few years. And hence, yes, I expect it to be within the top 50 market cap company. Uh, the Reliance and the Bhartis of the world will be much higher in market cap by the time Zomato reaches there. So
Hmm.
yes, incidentally, both are in my portfolio also. So both Reliance and Bharti. Coming to Zomato, our conviction on anything comes purely on the basis of business model and the ability to monetize that business model and the ability to reward the minority shareholders in that journey. There are a lot many companies which trades or are very good in business and monetize their business well. But if they don't reward the shareholders well, relative terms, they don't get the same valuation or multiple. Multiple is a function of all the three parameters which I just mentioned. The business model, the ability to monetize the business model, and the ability to reward the minority shareholder. Incidentally, I think Zomato ticks all the three boxes even today, and hence I expect it to do even better from here. The optimism on the business model is driven by two factors. Let's understand the industry first. On the consumption industry. So first thing first, Zomato is now not a food delivery company for us. It is a pure consumption play, discretionary spend play. There, India is moving towards the West side. Our per capita income and the proportion of per capita income on the discretionary spend on the day-to-day life is increasing. You are part of the so-called millennial group for us. If you look at the millennials group, they want to enjoy and spend the life better today rather than just saving for the future, which is where a lot of articles were written in the past that they don't want to have bind themselves by owning a house and all that stuff. So there's a trend in India. There's a consumption trend in India where discretionary spend is picking up. They want to be part of anything which is so-called trending, and that is where the moat of the opportunity is. Now talking about the opportunity, now looks at the monetization part of it. I think quick decision making and quick execution is the trend today. We can see that why that's one of the reasons why AI is coming the way it is they want to move everything fast. That is where online delivery takes up a fair share of the wallet now. I think it's true not only for you and me, but for the broader audience of our age and our wealth. The kind of orders we do on Amazon is amazing. For anybody who has an infant, the kind of order they do on the first cry is amazing. The concept of look and feel karke lena ya jaake khana is now moving to comfort, and Zomato provides us that, which is where the customer experience and the capability to deliver that experience is where Zomato is ahead, which itself means that the growth opportunity is very big. The ability to deliver that is very big, and hence there is a potential. Now, whether they are capable of doing that potential or not, this is where I think Dipender and his team have proven. First with Zomato, then with Blinkit, and now I believe it will be even more clear through District that when they get into something, they know how to execute it, and that is where the premium comes into the picture. Back in 2021, when this company was fairly new, that time I wrote that you can't value Zomato through financials only, and you need to value the business based on network, based on data which they have, and hence they can take better business decisions, which will reflect in financials over a period of time. And I'd actually predicted a 12, 13 multiple to the revenue, which is where it is even trading higher than that today. So
Hmm.
my growth is coming from earnings growth because of this opportunity and not from a valuation point. In fact, I've also highlighted in the report that I feel valuations on a multiple to revenue may come down going a bit.
Got it.
So
Got
that's
it.
a broader answer to the your question.
Understood. So we are talking about Forex in valuation, obviously, not considering, the announcement for the fundraise that they've made right now, etc., like separate from all of that.
Hmm.
Um, Forex, and you're talking about a decrease in the multiple because see, I was doing some back of math calculations, right? Like, so
Hmm.
currently, if you look at, say, trailing 12 months, 14,000 crores of revenue, and even if I grow it at 70% year on year, which has typically been the last 2 3 years kind of an annual growth rate, although I think market is looking at a lesser growth rate of around 50%. But even if I take it like at 70% for the next 3 years, at a 9 trillion market cap, which is what a 1,000 rupee share price suggests, we're looking at a 13x kind of a revenue multiple.
Yes, I
Um,
given a 12x multiple in my report. I talked about 12x as a target multiple.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So,
So Namita, you're making 2 points here. First,
hmm,
the last 12 months growth or last 36 months growth has come predominantly because of three businesses, mainly the food business, the
Yeah.
increment on Blinkit, and Hyperpure. Okay.
Sure.
Literally every 2 years, they are adding one business to the discretionary spend. They started as
Hmm.
a food delivery, then added Hyperpure, then acquired quick commerce through Blinkit, and now District. So it's fair to
Hmm.
assume that they will add something more to the discretionary play in the next couple of years, because they have
Okay.
given a clear signal that they want to be the discretionary spend play rather than anything else. That's the first point. The second point is, Namita, let's look back. लॉकडाउन को अगर हम बाहर कर दे, पोस्ट लॉकडाउन पे आते हैं, the average ticket size which each individual, and let's look back at our own number, or average ticket size, I'm not saying number of order, I'm saying average ticket size of what we used to order on quick commerce and food is only increasing,
Yeah. Yeah. Seen that.
right? And so there's a natural increase there because our dependency is increasing. Second is, we are tier 1 cities. This concept is now getting popular in tier 2, tier 3. The conviction and the trust of tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities will only come with time as when they execute well.
Hmm.
वो जिस बेस पे बैठे हैं ना, उस बेस पे 50-70% ग्रोथ इज नॉट अ इशू.
Hmm. Hmm. Correct.
So that is where the number will come. And with EBITDA positive, FCF positive now, the next leg of growth will lead to a huge cash flow.
Yeah.
In the peak, I've seen companies with high growth, strong FCF companies trading at less than 2% FCF yield.
Hmm. Hmm.
So let's assume 2% FCF yield as a bull case, because we are a bull on the top. We are talking about 18,000 crore cash for Zomato. Sorry, 1 lakh, 9 trillion divided by 50 क्या होगा? 0.18 trillion, which is 1800. Yes, 18,000. Is it
Hmm.
18,000?
Hmm.
Yeah. They are capable of throwing that cash.
Got it. 18,000 crores. Okay. Understood. Understood.
That comes to 9
Um,
lakh crore market cap. That's what we are talking about.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand.
So
Got
18,000
it.
crore FCF is possible for Zomato
Hmm. Hmm. Got it.
because it's a huge
And
operating leverage play.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand that. And see what my assessment is that, of course, I think food delivery, they've already proven execution. I think quick commerce as such is going to be the larger market. But I think the value would come mostly from these two players, because district, while they're talking about the live events, etc., I think there is a lot of market talk about that being intrinsically being a difficult segment to crack. And there was a detailed report saying that live events, you need to have like a lot of things going well in order to make money over there, etc., right? So have you done any analysis on this segment
So
that they're
there are
getting
two
into, or is
parts.
it?
I've not done the detail analysis, but let me put it this way. I take a more of a macro call. Okay. You in life even the manufacturer don't make money much. The distributor always makes money. Okay. The manufacturer doesn't make money because India का वो income segment ही नहीं था. So my whole thesis on Zomato or any of my portfolio stock comes from the fact that I see India as a strong economic growth entity, and hence the flow down on per capita income will be high. From where we are today, if our per capita income increase, we will spend more on our comfort, our aspirations, because we are done with the basic necessity at a certain level. And
Hmm.
that is
Hmm.
where the discretionary spend pie is on a huge increase going forward. And I think Zomato believes the same. which is why from being a food delivery, they have become a discretionary spend.
Got it. Got it. So it's more
Let's
about.
talk about our lifestyle. Okay. 10 years back when you passed out, you used to stay at let's say a shared flat with other female colleagues of yours. Then you moved into another flat of yours, maybe pre-marriage, post-marriage, whatever it is, based on your psyche. From there, you would have moved to a 3 BHK today. But will you move to a 5 BHK from here? The probably no. So a next set of income growth will not go on a housing, will either go on a car. And once you are done with the car, you will go on a holiday. Once you have done a holiday once or twice, it will go on your daily consumption.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, got
You
it.
want a
So,
better chocolate, you want to enjoy the life where you come back home after 10 hour sting and you're probably a bit tilted and you want to eat a good chocolate, you will go on a Zomato or a Swiggy to order.
yeah, yeah. So, Mridul, understood that. I understood that this is a play on the macro theme of, higher disposable income and Zomato, being a very prominent player for every kind of discretionary spend. Now, there is one line in the report which talks about, Swiggy is going for the IPO, right? And they will therefore also have access to that kind of, liquidity and capital to be aggressive in their play. And then in that same line, you say that, however, we see a limited threat to Zomato because Zomato is a different company now. So how do you think about market share, competition, etc.?
So what I meant to say was two things. You have rightly highlighted both the points. The first point is taking cognizance of the fact that your competitor also has access to liquidity, which
Hmm.
means that it could lead to a price war as we have seen in many markets. But in the duopoly market, typically price war is bad. So I assume both the players, especially Swiggy, can't afford a price war because they are still in losses. The more
Hmm.
in losses they are, the more probability of them lower for raising the money, or at the same time raising at a lower valuation. So, so what Swiggy will use, if anything, is for the expansion. Not talking about expansion, I believe that, which is where I highlighted the second point, that even if they spend on expansion, Zomato is well ahead of, because Zomato has been increasing its market share versus Swiggy for some time, which is why Swiggy probably thought of doing an IPO even at a lower valuation. I'm sure the the earlier holders of Swiggy are not happy with these valuations for that. They would have expected a better
Hmm.
valuation. But
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
fact is, they will not get till they become profitable or start increasing the market share, for which they need a corp. Now, coming to the fact that Zomato today is not a pure food delivery play. The fact that Swiggy is losing to Jepto on the Instamart also means that Swiggy has to spend on both the business, the food
Yeah.
delivery and the quick commerce both, which is where they need the funds and which is where they are coming out with the IP. Whereas Zomato is now moving ahead. It's saying I'm done or I'm settled there. Let me look at new businesses. So Swiggy was ahead of Zomato 5 years back, but today Zomato is miles ahead of. Having said that, that's a threat which I recognize in my report, and I think Zomato also realizes, which is why they are doing a small dilution and raising a war chest. Frankly,
Yeah.
I'm surprised with that money raise because they have money on the balance sheet. But it's just that they want to be sure that if needed, they can go for another acquisition, or do anything which is required to maintain the growth where they are. So it's a prudent decision. It comes as a surprise to us also, but I don't see a big negative, even if I keep my biases aside.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Yeah, thanks. I think this is very helpful, to understand the current perspective of these players. But I just want to now flashback a bit to 2021. And I want to understand firstly that, why did Zomato come on your radar, right? Because see, what we've seen is a lot of the public market investors, they seek haven in, they seek comfort in the safe haven of, free cash flows and ROCE, right? So in that environment, why did you choose to analyze Zomato, and, what did you see over there?
So, Namita, I am I will say I'm a bigger seeker of safe haven than a lot of people around me. The difference is I don't look at numbers today. I look at numbers 3 years down.
Okay.
I was convinced back in 2021 and I re-highlighted back in 2024, where I said that this company will become FCF positive in the next few years. The only thing which made me buy Zomato was two. One, I think lockdown changed the dynamics of this industry completely. COVID and the lockdown before after that changed the dynamic of this industry. Had lockdown not come, Zomato would have been probably one fifth of what it is today on the size of both market cap and the penetration. They would have to continue to burn.
Like, I know some of the numbers, but yeah,
Hmm.
just your sense of what has changed during lockdown, because that is quite a powerful statement to say, agar lockdown nahi hota, so we would be they would be 20% of what they are today.
Yes, because lockdown made people realize that we can eat food at home also. बाहर का खाना हम घर भी खा सकते, ठीक है. हमें बाहर जाने की आदत थी. वी आर हैबिटेटेड टू गोइंग आउट once every weekend on an average. But our parents are happy at home comfort, टीवी देखते देखते खा ले, ग्रुप में खा ले. Lockdown even started making them order. I don't know about you, but I ordered quite a few times for my parents who stay in Calcutta because घर में सब बंद के irritate होने लगते. That's human nature. So their target audience or the TAM that we call is huge, increased huge. And the experience of eating was not only the experience of eating, but getting the same tasty food is where the belief penetrated in our minds a lot faster than others.
Mhm.
I'll take an example. My kid likes pizza. I have a 9-year-old son. Like any young toddler, he likes pizza. Or a young kid, not a toddler. I give him pizza twice a month. अब मुझे बाहर नहीं ले जाना, उसे गरम फ्रेश पिज्जा घर पे मिल जाता है.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
eating pattern what changed because of COVID,
Yeah, yeah. I
because
think
of lockdown. If
that
that was not the
reflects.
case, they would have to spend a lot more on promotion, marketing, and yet the AOV and the GOV would have continued to struggle. I never meant one fifth of the number of customers. I meant the AOV and the GOV, and
Yeah.
the impact of saving on marketing would have been a lot higher.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, see, I remember some of the numbers. So I remember that, post-COVID, say FY22, they saw almost a 40% increase in the AOV, right? It reached to almost like 390, 400 levels. And of course, I think the, frequency, number of customers, etc., everything,
Look at the
drastically
fleet
changed.
size. Look at the fleet size change. That tells you where it is, right? And it added to supply side. Lockdown created so many small chefs.
Only small restaurants, yeah.
क्लाउड किचन का कॉन्सेप्ट आया ना इंडिया में, तो क्लाउड किचन का कॉन्सेप्ट ही कम था.
Yeah, yeah.
सो उनका सप्लाई और डिमांड दोनों एक अलग एलिवेट हो गया, एक अलग लेवल पे बिकॉज ऑफ लॉकडाउन.
Got it, got it. So, okay, so I think so you have invested at the IPO, is it? Like
यस,
just post the
यस,
IPO.
यस, बोथ लाइक.
Got it.
सो वी वेर a RIA there, which means we
Hmm.
used to advise the client on their
Hmm.
personal portfolio. So we used to advise what to buy based on the capital allocation and strategy. So we IPO may, even if we wanted to buy at 75 rupees, our clients won't have even got 10,000 worth. ठीक है.
Yeah, yeah,
HNI में लेवरेज चलता था उस टाइम, तो किसी को अलॉटमेंट तो 75 में आने का नहीं.
yeah, okay.
तो हमने लिस्टिंग के बाद लिया. आई थिंक विद इन अ मंथ ऑफ लिस्टिंग वी बॉट.
Got it. Yeah, yeah, I mean, it listed at almost double, right? So
It
around
listed at
75 and
115. It
150.
listed at 115, went to 138, 139 that day, and then hovered
Hmm.
around 120, 140 for a long period of time.
Got it.
Before going to 160, when GG announced that he's leaving the company, and then the global expect started coming in, leading to the downfall.
Right, right, right. And Mridul, I just want to get a bit technical here, right? Because if you look at your 2021 note, which was the first note on Zomato, and you have said, I mean, the equation value of the business is equal to, the value which is derived from the financials plus value of the network plus the value of data, right? And I mean, I think it is this kind of differentiated research which has helped you take that call, because it was very fascinating that, while we talk about network effects in English terms, like how do you even put a numerical value to that? So can you just help me understand what was the thought process? I mean, it's honestly, I've not seen it anywhere else that, the kind of proxy you use Jubilant Foods, you use Bharti Airtel, I think Jio, and then you also use DMart.
Asian Paints also, roughly.
Yeah, you use Asian Paints also, correct, correct. Just
Mm.
just help me through that thought process, like how did you even think about putting a value to network effects and data place?
So that was the biggest challenge. Trust me, it was not easy. Okay, because as you rightly said, there is no precedent of such a way of looking at things. So, so what I realized is what struck my mind. The key which struck my mind was ये धंधा को तो फाइनेंशियल पे वैल्यू करना बेवकूफी है, बिकॉज इट्स
Hmm.
टू स्मॉल. ठीक है. और ये तो अभी जस्ट पिक करना चालू किया है फाइनेंस में. तो लेट मी पुट इट दिस वे. व्हाट इंस्पायर्ड मी, लेट मी कम बैक. Why does a Titan trades at 100 time multiple? Why does Bajaj Finance trade at 7 time? It was roughly 7 time book at that point of time, 2021. ठीक है.
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
Why did HDFC Bank trade at 4.5 time book? There was just a few notch difference between them and the next player, but then why this multiple?
Hmm.
So, so one of the bigger reason I always thought was pure of the fact that you are market leader, which is why
Hmm.
our concept is investing in market leader. That's inculcated in. So Swiggy and Zomato are market leader. Swiggy is not listed. Zomato is a market leader. It is coming out with an. It came out with IPO. I did my study, and I could see the change in the pattern, whatever I explained on Zomato back in 2020. But when you look at Mr. Damodaran's report, when you look at so many things, and then you purely look at financials, you can nowhere justify the price it was trading. Rightly so. So
Yeah.
it was beyond financial. So what were the edges beyond financial? Or what differentiate the company was not the financial, but the financials को तो मैंने value किया ही नहीं, to be very honest. ठीक है.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
It was just to value the opportunity and the ability to grab that. Now, even to value the opportunity was very tough because there is no organized market there. So,
Hmm.
so the best thing I could think is like a businessman. So the next thing I did is I thought, let me put myself in the shoes of Gigi and Dipender and look how do I get excited about them. The first thing I realized is data. The fact that they have the data. See, there was always a tech company. You know how tech companies work. I don't need to explain that to you. They
Yeah.
had the data to know the consumption pattern, to know the frequency, to know how the demography works in each catchment area, in each district, whatever you want to call it. That data has a huge value, because if I'm Copper Chimney and I'm saying I want to open a restaurant in Sevdi Parel,
Hmm.
I don't know how much people will like pure Indian food, dal makhni or whatever. I need to do some analysis, some groundwork before I do that. Now I have a company which already does, which already has that. But obviously, Zomato will not sell that data. So what will happen is these restaurants will have to come to Zomato and do a tie-up on the terms of Zomato,
Hmm.
which will increase their revenue, which will increase their margins, will increase their capability and market share.
Yeah.
How to value that? So I thought let's look at the large companies which purely operates on database, and that is where Bharti came into the picture,
Hmm.
right? Then let's talk about network. Now, the advantage with Zomato is their network is not getting built by putting shops, restaurants, or establishments. Their network is building by putting people in those districts, by in those catchment areas, and by putting listing those shops on their app. That is where the groundwork was done mostly by 2021. Every good restaurant I can think of in Bombay was listed on Zomato, and same for
Yeah.
Calcutta. So which means that they have put their hands and legs in every major places. All they need to do is now put people so that they can start delivering. And that is where the IPO helped them to raise money to create a fleet for that. And then
Hmm.
it is all about the opportunity of growth, which I have already explained it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. So, if I remember, so I think, I think you'd given Jubilant Foods as a very good example of the network. And obviously, like Domino's, the network was created through the store network, whereas for Zomato, it was all, digital and it was all
No,
on the
so,
app.
so Jubi was both physical plus delivery. Pizza Hut was
Hmm.
pure delivery, pure physical. Jubi
Okay.
did what they did is because they had both physical, जिसे हम ऑनलाइन और ऑफलाइन दोनों बोल सकते हैं आज के जमाने
Hmm.
में.
Hmm.
Jubilant saw that long back.
Got it. Got it. And then you had divided their PE. They had a PE of 80. So you had divided that, 60 to say that this is this is attributed to say the financial performance, financial growth, return metrics, etc. And then this 20 delta is
Hmm.
I will attribute it to the network effects that is being created in the company. Right?
Yes.
So that
It
was the
was a
approach.
mix of analysis plus gut. How to assign that number is a function of analysis plus gut. So if I
Hmm.
analyze companies without novelty of distribution, as in beyond the point, I will say
Hmm.
novelty of distribution doesn't mean distribution. It means the extra नहीं है. तो लीवर के पास भी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है, बट वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन तो डाबर के पास भी है, वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन तो मैरिको के पास.
Right.
So they all trade at around 50, 60 times, while those with the novelty of distribution, like the Asian Paints and Jajubi, used to trade at 80 times. So that
Yeah.
is where that extra 20 came. And the other way to look at it is the novelty premium of the extra which you have is obviously around 30 to 50%. If you look at HDFC Bank, it used to trade at 4 times price to book, while others were at 2.5, 3 times. So if you have entry barriers, novelty, specialty, you should get 30 to 50% premium for that extra. And that is where I made it 60-20.
Got it. Yeah, that was actually very novel novel approach of valuing it. And
But
so
और कोई
Mridul,
तरीका नहीं था ना. There is no precedent, there is no experience. So
no,
you
I
have
think
to
see that is where
evolve.
the
You
edge
have to
comes in,
evolve,
right?
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so that is where the edge comes in, Mridul, that see, it's very easy for every investor worth their salt to talk about being contrarian, right? But I think the hardest part is to actually be contrarian rather than speaking about being contrarian. So
And at the right
yeah,
logic. I think more important is for the right logic of it, because if your logic is right, then your probability of going right is very high. In investing, it's
yeah,
all about probability and risk reward. सिर्फ यही दो चीज चलता है. अगर आपने ये दोनों
yeah,
राइट कर
yeah.
लिया तो आप पैसा बना लो.
Yeah, yeah. So, Mridul, now I want to, like obviously Zomato is also very interesting because extreme, highs and lows. So now let's talk about the low, like the extremely terrifying low, wherein, if you
Rightly
had
said,
entered at a,
terrifying. Rightly said, terrifying.
yeah, if you are entered at a, 120 to 140 and then suddenly you're looking at a 75% loss, like notional loss when, the stock is trading at 40 to 50. So what was the mindset at that point? I mean, you were an RIA, what were you even telling investors and like what was investor reaction? Just help me understand that situation.
Okay, investor reaction was easier part to explain. 10 में से 9 मीटिंग में 60 minutes में से 40 minutes was Zomato. ठीक है, that's the investor reaction. Why I could hold on to it? I think that is one of the most satisfying moment of my advisory investment managing. Was twofold. One, my conviction on the business model. अगर जोमेटो ने 5,000 करोड़ उठाया होता ना 12,500 करोड़ की जगह, तो मैं जोमेटो को होल्ड ऑन ही नहीं कर पाता, बिकॉज दे हैड इनफ मनी ऑन देयर बैलेंस शीट to survive for 5 years without worrying about it. I had the margin of safety. I was anyways convinced कि 2 साल में FCF पॉजिटिव होगा. अगर कोई 2 की जगह 3 साल भी लगेगा तो कंपनी के पास पैसा है. तो पहला कन्विक्शन वहां आया. दूसरा है, आई ऑलवेज लुक्ड एट द बिजनेस मॉडल एंड नॉट प्राइस.
Hmm.
एंड तीसरा है कि आई एनीवेज टेक अ 3 to 5 years. सो फंडामेंटली ये रीजन से कि आई कुड होल्ड ऑन टू इट. Yes, I reviewed my decision, I reviewed my conviction, which is where that note came into the picture. Now look at the non-fundamental reasons why I could hold on or why I could write what I wrote. Twofold there. First, Zomato was only 3.5-4% of the portfolio, even for all the conviction I have. Which means even if it goes half, it hits your portfolio by max 2%. And my other stocks were doing fine. So I was well covered from that perspective to worry about, नहीं यार मेरे को तेरे को पैसा नहीं. ठीक है. The second, which is experience, and there is no parallel to the experience, is the fact that I was very new and exposed to the market when the dot-com burst happened. So I used my experience, memory of that time and compared it with the dot-com time to explain why what is happening is happening. And I got my answers there. And then what happens after that? So it is, I had enough belief in me to know that it is the Infosys of this sector. Why
Hmm.
I'm saying
Hmm.
Infosys and not TCS or Wipro? Because Infosys has always been close to my heart.
Okay. Got it. Mridul, just one thing, right? So see, there were several factors which contributed to, the stock for the longest time being between the 40 to 50 rupee range at that time. Okay, one non-trivial thing was that at that time, like May 2022 is the period I'm talking about, and they had also, probably given out a large loan of around $150 million to Blinkit, or probably on the verge of acquiring it, etc. And a lot of commentary was there on quick commerce. They were talking about investing almost $400 million in that, and of course, there was a lot of the skepticism around quick commerce. You know, so, food delivery, I get, at least there was some logic over there, which you've explained. But like, how did you think about, the company allocating a huge amount of capital to a new business, which is not proven out and, which at least the market seems to believe will just not work. There was a lot of like very direct criticism for quick commerce model at that point.
So two things here before I come to my answer. Uh, First of all, I was pissed to the core when they gave loan to Blinkit. And I'm not undermining the words here. I was really pissed to the core. With the line which I made to my co-founder Vivek, कि यार स्टार्टअप को कौन लोन देता है भाई, इक्विटी लोन है अगर करना ही है. ठीक है. So that's the frustration I have. on the loan part. But when I pulled back and thought, I realized that हम लोग में एक language है रुमाल रख. So I think that was used as a rumal lakna, that
Yeah.
if Blinkit has to dilute, then they will get diluted to Zomato, right? Which ultimately happened.
Yeah.
Uh, Another statement which I made to my existing investors on those times, those who are watching the video will remember this, that when they acquired Blinkit, I explained to them why this was the best thing Zomato could have done to themselves. And before coming to that, let me tell you one thing about myself, Namita. When an event happens, I take 72 hours to decide whether I have the answers for it or not. When M&M Finance raised rights issue at 50 rupees in 2020, when the CMP was well above 200, I could not understand why a finance company will do a rights at 25% of the price. And on Monday or Tuesday, I sold it off. Infosys gave a howler back in April 23. I cannot explain to you or the audience how much I love Infosys as a company and stuff. It was 10% of my portfolio, but I sold it 5% of the portfolio at 10% lower the next day because I could not find answers to what is happening. So in case of Zomato, Blink, if I could not have found a rationale for why they have acquired Blinkit, I'd have sold Zomato of the next week itself, irrespective of the price. But when I analyzed, I believed and I realized this is the best thing they have done for themselves. Why? Because at that time, Zepto had raised $100 million to private investors. Zepto just आना चालू हुआ. Zepto का वो एक्सपीरियंस था नमिता, जितना टाइम में आप नीचे जाके किराने की दुकान से थम्स अप साबुन लेके आओगे ना, उसके पहले जेप्टो लाके दे दो.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
6 मिनट 7 मिनट्स लिफ्ट से उतर के मेन रोड तक जाने में उतना टाइम लगता है, उसका बंदा 7 मिनट में लाके दे रहा है. ठीक है, 1 सेकेंड. सॉरी नमिता.
No worries,
Yeah,
I'm here.
yeah. So when they, if you remember that time, Zepto has acquired at raised $100 million. एंड क्विक कॉमर्स में मतलब ऐसा था कि टीयर 1 में अगर आप जेप्टो नहीं यूज कर रहे हो तो आप कुछ मिस कर रहे हो फ्रॉम अ कंफर्ट पर्सपेक्टिव. ठीक है, जेप्टो ने जो स्केल अप किया, उस स्केल अप के पीछे उसका रॉ मटेरियल क्या था? उसका रॉ मटेरियल था रनर. ठीक है,
Absolutely.
और सिमिलरली उसी टाइम जंजो ने रिलायंस से पैसा उठाया. जंजो वाज अबाउट टू गो बस्ट बट देयर इज सम मनी. एंड
Yeah.
स्विगी भी अगर आपको याद हो तो फूड डिलीवरी से ज्यादा इंस्टामार्ट पे फोकस कर रहा था, एड एंड स्टफ. ठीक है,
Right.
सो आपके पास 3 प्लेयर है जिनका रॉ मटेरियल सिर्फ रनर है, और ये तीनों प्लेयर उस रनर को दिन में 10 से 12 घंटा यूज कर सकते. मतलब वो रनर 10 से 12 घंटा कमाई करेगा. वेयर एज जोमेटो ब्रेकफास्ट डिलीवर करेगा, वीकडेज में डिनर डिलीवर करेगा, वीकेंड्स में चलो लंच भी करेगा. उसका एंगेजमेंट में एक डिलीवरी बॉय 4 से 5 ऑर्डर से ज्यादा दिन में दे ही नहीं सकता. कितना पैसा कमा ले.
Yeah, utilization you're talking about. Okay.
ठीक है, सो और ये बंदा को एक्सपीरियंस जोमेटो ने किया, ट्रेनिंग में खर्चा करके, सिखा सिखा के, रगड़ रगड़ के. वो यहाँ जितना पैसा कमाता है फिक्स प्लस इंसेंटिव में, उससे ज्यादा जेप्टो और डंजो और स्विगी पैसा दे सकते थे उसको. So they needed something to add, and Blinkit was served to them on that.
Yeah.
Nobody else needed Blinkit more than Zomato, and Zomato got it damn cheap for the benefit. उससे ज्यादा benefit तो day one में ले लिया था यार, जितना पैसा उसने खर्च।
Hmm. Got it. So it wasn't really about the unit economics of e-commerce at that time, which the entire market was talking about, but you saw it as better,
Blend. It's a
runner utilization,
blended. It's a
etc.
blended need. There's a strong synergy there, right from day one.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. But huge call on execution, right? Because see, if you look
That's the
at what are
risk.
the
Yes,
success,
that's the risk we took. कहीं तो
yeah,
रिस्क
if
लेना
you look
पड़ेगा,
at
नहीं तो सस्ते में कहाँ मिलेगा। जब
no,
जब
no, I
एग्जीक्यूशन
understand,
दिख
but
गया तब तो वैल्यूएशन बहुत बदल गए थे।
yeah, of course. That's what, but like if you look at some of the largest success factors of Blinkit as we see it today, right? Like firstly, extremely good AOVs of 650 rupees, which indicates that, other than these core FMCG, grocery, etc., there's doing a lot
They
more
have gone
categories.
beyond, which is what I'm saying. That Zomato has gone beyond the traditional businesses. They have
Yeah,
a strategy team which has the right mind between the ears. They know how to
mm-hmm.
monetize the business. If
Yeah.
I don't know whether they will or not. If they start using their runner to give event tickets,
It's all digital. No, that is one thing which is digital today. You cannot be like
नहीं, बट
physical.
डिजिटल टिकट बुक करो, आपके घर में टिकट आएगा।
बट घर में टिकट आने की जरूरत क्या है? सब डिजिटल कर दो।
You don't know how they will innovate. I am just giving you a random example. They
Okay.
have the capability to innovate what the customer wants.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one simple thing. पेटीएम ने भी चालू किया था लैपटॉप बेचना, सब बेचना। They were not
Yeah.
successful. They did it much ahead of the time, but they were not successful. So they are doing something right rather than in many ways, rather than just what we are seeing.
Yeah. True. True. Great. So Mridul, I just want to switch gears and I want to ask you that have you analyzed any other, new age tech company? A lot of them have been listed and uh, like what are the guiding principles for, analyzing loss-making companies?
Zomato for me was never a loss making company. Sorry, I will disagree with. So if you
Okay.
look at my report, I had in 22, I had clearly explained that showing loss for the growth of the company is different from showing loss for the operations of the company.
Yes.
Companies
Yeah.
which are reporting net loss because they are growing are not loss making companies. Companies which report loss while they are running for the operation of the company to maintain the business are the ones which are
Hmm.
loss making. There it's a hope trade. So I wanted to correct that first. The
Okay.
second is, I think I'll answer the second question first. What are the parameters we look at? The broader parameter is entry barrier, ability to scale up, make money. ठीक है। there was पेटीएम को जब मैंने देखा था, मैंने बहुत ज्यादा पेटीएम को नहीं देखा था, बट पेटीएम को देखा था तो मेरे को तो पेटीएम इतना कॉम्प्लेक्स लगा था कि मैंने साइड में रख। They had some 40 plus businesses and I could not find novelty for any of the business. So I said, too many moving parts for me to understand and stuff. And it helped, right? Uh, both from close clients, from peers, there was a lot of pressure to look at Nike. मीडिया भी काफी
Hmm.
बातें कर रही थी। जोमेटो हमारे लिए जब मैं इतना कन्विंस था तो व्हाई नॉट नाइका। ठीक है, वन ऑफ द रैशनल इंटरनली वी डिस्कस कि अगर नाइका भी चल गया तो विल जोमेटो गिव बेटर रिटर्न देन नाइका। द सेकंड पॉइंट ऑफ डिस्कशन वाज कि व्हाई नॉट लुक एट नाइका। अगर नाइका भी चल गया तो वी कैन कॉल आवरसेल्फ द asset managers who understand the new tech space more than our peers or something of that sort.
Hmm.
But when I looked at Nika, मुझे ना तो नोवेल्टी दिखा ना तो एंट्री बैरियर, ठीक है। एंड नमिता, अनदर थिंग ना, जो मुझे सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होता है मेरे लिए, कि मेरे एक्सपीरियंस से मुझे पता है कि आईपीओ में पैडिंग होती है। दैट्स माय बिगेस्ट कंसर्न विद हुंडई। ठीक है, हुंडई अब लोग नेगेटिव है, जब आईपीओ अनाउंस किया था तब से लोग बहुत हल्ला कर रहे हैं कि हुंडई इज द नेक्स्ट बिग थिंग एंड स्टफ। There's a lot of padding which happens in IPO for better valuation. Again, nobody understands that better than you who is into investment banking. The padding is done by the management by front ending their resources. The padding doesn't mean galat dikhate. It means ki go all in before the IPO to get the best valuation.
Yeah.
पूरा exhaust कर लेते हैं from that perspective. So I have taken the learning from Nika experience. We never invested, but when you looked at Nika, we said if it is a real great company, will invest in IPO or just after IPO. नहीं तो हम 2 quarter देखें. Look at what
Hmm.
happened in Nika. Look at what is happening in Ola Electric.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. So until unless I have a strong grip on the business and a strong confidence in the promoter, nothing against either of the promoters. ठीक है. But जब तक वो conviction वहां तक नहीं पहुंचेगा, I will not able to take a step because we are anyways a concentrated portfolio. So the cost of going wrong is very high for us, while the benefit of going right is even more high.
Yeah, understood. Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. And sorry, a second last question for you, Mridul. Um, so is Zomato a stock that your grandkids will inherit, or how are you thinking about ever exiting Zomato?
I will so I will not exit Zomato till it is the moat and the numbers are increasing. Okay. I will go back to, sorry, I'm telling you stories or experiences along with it.
Sure.
This is 2001. I was sitting with my father in his office. Sorry. I was sitting with my father in his office. There was an uncle who was an old friend of my father. He was there, and we were talking about the stock market. I was a young kid, 21, 22. He shared an experience. In 1979, that guy invested in Colgate. He told me an amount also. By selling 50% of Colgate, he got his daughter married. Zomato is that stock.
Sorry?
Zomato is that stock where my clients
Okay.
will use a part of Zomato to sell off, to get their kids married, to get them a house or whatever. 10 years down the line. When
Got
Zomato was going down 5-10% daily, that time also I had said that this is a 10x story in 5 years. In 2 years, it is 5x. In next 2 years, it will be another doubler from here. And in another 1.5, 2 years, it will be a doubler from there. That's 5,000 in 1,000 days.
Got it. And so when it was 40 to 50, like, of course, I think it was more of an RIA than the AIF. But did your investors invest more, or was it like just, okay, we'll just keep the current holding?
Weight management chalta tha.
Okay.
I follow the weight method, which is what
Yeah.
is the weightage. Okay. So the weightage never went up.
Hmm.
So we were continuing to buy more of Zomato as when the new capital was coming. The weight was always around 3 to 4% के बीच में.
Got it. Got it. Great. That means you gave the investors the benefit of the downward averaging and all that.
Yes.
Yeah, nice. And so, Mridul, my last question for you is like, what are the contrarian bets that you have as of today?
Uh, So in my deck, which I started making in October for my AI, I called Geo Finance and Jubi as a contrarian. I think Jubi अब धीरे धीरे contrarian से consensus बनते जा रहा है.
Okay.
ठीक है, which happened between 22 to 23 in case of Zomato. I think अगले 6 महीने में Jubi consensus बन जाएगा and उसके बाद Jio बन जाएगा. So probably I will say that today I am contrarian probably in banking from a short-term perspective, because a lot of fund managers, market participants are saying banks are struggling, and I'm trying to explain why banks are needed in the portfolio.
Got
So,
it. So the
so
ICICI Bank, etc.
yes, ICICI Bank, Axis, SBI, Bob are in my portfolio. So, so whether it is contrarian or not is decided by the market, not by me. What I buy is decided only by what I see coming. So, for example, in March, when I wrote that Bharti is a multi-bagger from here, technically I was a contrarian there also.
Hmm.
There are a lot many stocks which are not in my portfolio and I'm contrarian there. Idea. When the rights came, every FPO came, everybody thought it's a buy. And I wrote, no, it is not.
Yeah, I saw
Being
that.
bearish on HDFC Bank and Asian Paints have been contrarian. So contrarian is not only in what you are investing, contrarian is also what you are not investing.
Yeah. I'm interested in like what's the contrarian and what you are investing, because that's where the money can be made.
Yes. So money can be made is where the earnings will come, nothing else. I
Yeah,
was a
like so for
content.
example, Zomato was a contrarian thing, right? Which is
Yes,
like the biggest
Zomato was a
success story.
contrarian. Indigo was a contrarian.
Okay.
Okay. I think Geo Finance will head that list today. Is where we are contrarian and we can make a lot more money in the next 3 years.
Got it.
It's again 2.5-3% of the portfolio, not
Got
because I
it.
need to manage the construct well.
Yeah. Cool. So I think I've overshot my time, I
Which is
believe.
fine. It's a healthy, good discussion. Let's now open the floor for people to ask questions. What do you say, Namita?
Yeah, sure, please.
So if any, so we have few audience for those who will be watching the YouTube later on, as in the video. We have few audience who have joined us. Hereby we open the floor for that. One request to anybody who wants to ask the question, just unmute yourself, introduce yourself by the name, and then put the question. That will be useful.
Hi,
As
Mridul.
Namita, yeah, hi Vishal,
Vishal.
please. Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned that 40 to 50% or maybe 60% growth is sustainable for Zomato and is not a big deal. But
Yeah.
given that there are a lot of other companies as the market is heating up, we have Flipkart entering into this business. Maybe we may see Amazon coming again. They started, but again they come. Big Basket having backing of Tata. So don't you think each company, I mean the all these companies will be competing with for the same market share, and even in terms of expanding to tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities, the list will be more or less similar. There will be a huge overlap because every company would want to tap into first tier 2, then tier 3, and then eventually tier 4. I see commerce growing eventually, but why do you think that Zomato will eat up? I know you have answered a lot, but among all these companies, don't you think it will be a big challenge also to compete?
So first question first. Big Basket has been there for at least 10 years. Okay. Big Basket probably and Dunzo are the first players to enter the industry. They have not able to deliver. So people, so companies or promoters who have been there for long and yet who have not able to achieve much, I don't see them as a threat ever. So big Basket is here and will stay, but they are not a threat in my view. Second is whether it is Flipkart, whether it is Amazon. I'll tell you one thing. I have learned it through my experience. And one of the reasons why Amazon is not focused on this is they have learned that the non-food delivery and food delivery में बहुत फर्क है. Because food delivery needs to be delivered when there is a demand. कपड़ा आपको एक दिन की जगह 2 दिन बाद भी मिलता है, आप जाके अमेजोन से ही खरीदोगे. बट खाना आपको उसी समय चाहिए होता है. दाल उपमा आपको उसी समय चाहिए होता है. सूजी पोहा आपको उसी समय चाहिए होता है, 2 दिन पहले नहीं चाहिए हो. सो वो इम्पल्सिव बाइंग मार्केट ये लोग नहीं ले पाए. सेकंड, the entry barrier is because the scale of listing to be available in all districts, all regions is a humongous effort. The kind of field force you need, the kind of technology and investment you need to up yourself to be present in every district and to have all the products lined up with the right prices is a huge challenge. It's easier said than done. And the time they will need to do that, by that time Zomato would have already moved to the next level. Jio, for all the might it has, took nearly a decade before they became a full-fledged telecom player. And the kind of money they had to invest was much more than what the incumbent did. And that's the reason why I think Flipkart, Amazon are not a threat. Purely because of the scale and the bandwidth or the network it needs to be created. कंपटीशन आते रहेंगे, रीजनल में आते रहेंगे. अभी 2 साल पहले सुनील शेट्टी बैक किसी ने फूड डिलीवरी ऐप चालू किया था, बहुत हल्ला हुआ था. ओएनडीसी ने किया था, बहुत हल्ला हुआ था. स्केल नहीं आ सकता. इट्स नॉट इजी टू गेट दीज स्केल्स एनी मोर. और स्केल के बिना तो इतना लॉस होगा इस धंधे में कि आप पैसा आप एबिटा आपका एबिटा लॉस मल्टी करोड़ में जाएंगे यार. क्योंकि मार्जिन आर वेफर थे नहीं है. तो आरओई बनेगा नहीं, आरओआई बनेगा नहीं, पैसा बंद करने के लिए कौन आएगा यार. When ONDC came, there was so much hue and cry. I wrote, we came out with a one pager where I explained that ONDC को जो नेटवर्क क्रिएट करना है वो क्रिएट करने के लिए पैसा लगेगा. अगर ओएनडीसी पैसा नहीं बनाएगा तो नेटवर्क कैसे क्रिएट होगा. और अगर ओएनडीसी पैसा चार्ज करेगा तो प्राइस डिफरेंस खत्म हो जाएगा. और वही हुआ. ओएनडीसी ने प्राइस डिफरेंस खत्म कर दी. It is not an easy business to operate. Just because Zomato and Swiggy has done it doesn't mean it is easy to operate.
Got it. Thank you, Mridul.
Yeah. Thanks, Vishal. Vishal is done with his question. Anybody else wants to ask anything? If not, we'll wrap the session with a special thanks to Namita for being there and discussing this.
Thanks, Mridul, for the opportunity.
It's not the opportunity is mine, Namita, because I could share my thoughts with you, those who are here to stay to hear me, and those who will be watching the video later on. It's a pleasure sharing my thoughts with you guys. Thank you for hearing us now and those who will be watching us later on. My regards and gratitude to everybody. And I end it with the belief that 1,000 in 1,000 days is here on its track. Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
Godspeed. I hope that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Bye.